On January 5, 2020, a US drone strike targeted Qassem Soleimani near Baghdad airport. Acting under direct orders from then-President Donald Trump, the strike eliminated a figure whose influence stretched across the Middle East. Soleimani's role as the architect of Iran's regional strategy made this event a turning point, setting off ripples that continue to shape the region today. The international response was immediate and significant. President Trump stated, "We took action to stop a war, not to start one," framing the decision as a defensive measure.
Today we remember and honor the victims of Soleimani's many atrocities, and we take comfort in knowing that his reign of terror is over.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described it as a powerful message to all who threaten peace, while Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei issued a statement calling for 3 days of public mourning and promising retaliation. His departure to God does not end his path or his mission, Khamenei declared. A forceful revenge awaits the criminals who have his blood and the blood of the other martyrs last night on their hands. American officials accused Soleimani of orchestrating attacks that caused the deaths of hundreds of soldiers during the Iraq War. He was believed to have supplied Iraqi insurgents with advanced bomb-making equipment and training. According to the Pentagon, Soleimani was actively developing plans to attack American diplomats and service members in Iraq and throughout the region. The operation underscored both the high stakes and the deep divisions in Middle Eastern geopolitics. But what made Soleimani's death such a pivotal moment? Qassem Soleimani was not just a military leader, he was the driving force behind Iran's network of influence across the region. As the commander of the Quds Force, he coordinated Iran's support for proxy groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen. These alliances gave Tehran leverage far beyond its borders. He was not only in charge of Iranian intelligence gathering and covert military operations, he was regarded as one of Iran's most cunning and autonomous military figures. He was also believed to be very close to Ayatollah Khamenei and was seen as a potential future leader of Iran. General Soleimani once described himself to a senior Iraqi intelligence official as the sole authority for Iranian actions in Iraq. The official later told American officials in Baghdad. Hezbollah, in particular, benefited from Soleimani's strategic guidance. Over nearly 2 decades, it transformed it into a powerful force in Lebanon, capable of projecting influence regionally. His ability to unify diverse and often competing factions under Tehran's banner made him indispensable to Iran's foreign policy. The New York Times reported that analysts believed Soleimani's death could lead to significant disruptions across Iran's proxy network. His absence created a void that Tehran has struggled to fill. His death marked the beginning of setbacks for Iran's proxies. Could Tehran maintain its grip on the region without him? But first, let's look at why Donald Trump made the decision, a move that Barack Obama had previously avoided. The decision to target Soleimani came after escalating tensions. In 2019, attacks on US forces in Iraq increased significantly, with a December strike killing an American contractor. General Kenneth McKenzie, then head of CENTCOM, revealed in his book, Degrade and Destroy, that previous administrations had opportunities to target Soleimani but refrained, fearing wider conflict. Trump's administration, however, took a different approach. Iran's leadership sought to rally public support, framing Soleimani's death as martyrdom for national pride. Protesters in Iran carried images of Soleimani, while state media portrayed him as a hero of the Islamic Republic. Mark Dubowitz, CEO of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, described the strike as devastating for the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, the regime, and Khamenei's regional ambitions. He added, "For 23 years, he has been the equivalent of the JSOC commander, the CIA director, and Iran's real foreign minister. He is irreplaceable and indispensable to Iran's military establishment." Soleimani's death triggered a series of challenges for Iran's regional allies. Hezbollah, which had relied heavily on his leadership, faced mounting difficulties. Internal divisions surfaced, and the group's ability to project power weakened. In Lebanon, economic crisis further eroded Hezbollah's standing, complicating its operations. In Iraq, militias aligned with Iran struggled to maintain cohesion. Without Soleimani's coordination, rivalries among these groups intensified, undermining Tehran's influence. The Houthis in Yemen, another key proxy, also faced setbacks as they adapted to a more fragmented support structure. The broader implications became clear in Syria, where Iran's support for Bashar al-Assad's regime wavered. By December 2024, Soleimani's assassination had weakened Iran's regional power, as reported by Iran International. This marked a significant turning point as Tehran lost one of its key regional allies. The void left by Soleimani's death also opened opportunities for Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu's administration capitalized on Iran's weakened position, conducting precision strikes against Iranian assets and proxy leaders. These actions, combined with diplomatic efforts to strengthen alliances with Sunni Arab states, further isolated Tehran. Netanyahu's government emphasized the importance of countering Iran's influence. "We will not allow Iran to entrench itself on our borders," he declared, highlighting Israel's commitment to regional security. Israeli media reported on a series of intelligence operations targeting Iranian infrastructure in Syria, further destabilizing Tehran's hold in the region. Meanwhile, the Financial Times highlighted how the Abraham Accords, which normalized relations between Israel and several Arab nations, added another layer of pressure on Tehran. 5 years after Soleimani's death, Iran's regional influence has significantly declined. The Quds Force, once a symbol of Tehran's reach, now struggles to maintain its network of proxies. Local populations in Lebanon, Iraq, and Yemen have grown increasingly disillusioned with Iran's role, further complicating its ambitions. While Tehran continues to wield considerable power, its strategy of proxy warfare faces growing challenges. Soleimani's unique ability to unify and lead these efforts has proven irreplaceable, leaving Iran to grapple with a fragmented and uncertain future. What lies ahead for a regime that has lost its most effective strategist? The killing of Qassem Soleimani was more than a tactical victory. It was a strategic turning point. It disrupted Iran's regional ambitions, exposed vulnerabilities in its proxy networks, and altered the dynamics of the Middle East. For Tehran, his loss marked the beginning of a decline that continues to shape its foreign policy. As the region evolves, the question remains: can Iran rebuild its influence, or has Soleimani's death irrevocably changed the balance of power in the Middle East?